The battlefield may have just expanded again. Iran now claims it has struck a US command center inside Syria. Tehran says American troops were killed and helicopters destroyed. Then came another warning: no oil or gas will leave the Strait of Hormuz if US attacks continue. This conflict is entering dangerous new territory. The conflict between the United States and Iran is spreading once again. This time, Tehran says it has struck a key American military command center inside Syria, while issuing a fresh warning over one of the world's most important energy choke points. If the attacks continue, Iran says no oil or gas will leave the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's Revolutionary Guards announced on July 17th that they had launched what they described as a surprise attack on a US Special Operations Command Center in the Al-Tanf region of southern Syria. According to a statement carried by Iranian state media, the strike formed part of the 11th wave of Operation Nasser II and was carried out in retaliation for the killing of Iranian soldiers in Iran Shah.
In response to the atrocities of the child-killing American army, the IRGC Aerospace Forces fighters in the 11th wave of Operation Nasser II, with the code name Aba Abdullah al-Hussein and dedicated to the oppressed martyred soldiers of Bampur in Iran Shah, carried out a surprise attack on the enemy's Special Operations Command Center in the Tanf region of Syria. Not only the attack destroyed a radar system and several special operations helicopters, but also killed a large number of American criminal forces.
However, the claims have not been verified yet. There was no immediate response from either the Syrian government or the United States military. The reported strike comes despite the US military announcing in February that it had completed its withdrawal from the Al-Tanf base, located near the strategic tri-border area where Syria, Jordan, and Iraq meet. Since the regional conflict intensified, Syria has repeatedly sought to avoid becoming directly involved. President Ahmed al-Sharaa stated in March that Syria would remain outside any regional confrontation unless the country itself came under attack. Alongside the announcement of the alleged strike, Iran's Revolutionary Guards issued another warning over the Strait of Hormuz.
Complete control of the Strait of Hormuz remains in the hands of our brave warriors. And as long as the American atrocities continue, not a single drop of oil and gas will be exported from this region.
The latest declaration follows weeks of escalating tensions around the Strait of Hormuz, where repeated military operations and threats have already disrupted regional security and raised concerns over global energy supplies. Although the reported attack inside Syria and Iran's claims of American casualties remain unverified, the announcement signals Tehran's intention to widen the geographical scope of its response while maintaining pressure on one of the world's most strategically important shipping lanes. The fragile pause in the fighting is over. The United States has widened its air campaign against Iran, striking not only military positions but also key infrastructure near the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has responded with fresh missile attacks across the Gulf, warning that any further assault on its infrastructure will bring a devastating response. With both sides escalating, the confrontation is rapidly becoming one of the most dangerous phases of the conflict. The United States expanded its airstrike campaign against Iran early on July 17th, carrying out a sixth consecutive night of attacks. According to US Central Command, American fighter jets, drones, and warships launched precision strikes against dozens of Iranian military targets, including coastal surveillance sites, air defense positions, logistics infrastructure, and maritime capabilities. The latest wave targeted bridges in Iran's southern Hormozgan province, including Bandar Qameh on the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian state television reported that at least 7 people were killed in the strikes, while officials said civilian infrastructure, including power facilities and a railway station near Bandar Abbas, had also been hit. Iranian authorities say the latest American attacks have brought the total death toll to more than 35, with over 300 people wounded since the renewed campaign intensified. Speaking in a primetime address, President Donald Trump defended the operation, declaring that the United States was winning big in Iran and saying the results would become clear very soon.
And we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly.
Meanwhile, Iran widened its retaliation across the region. Qatar twice urged residents to take shelter as Iranian missiles targeted the country. Air defense systems intercepted the incoming projectiles, although Qatari authorities said a child was injured by falling debris. Iran also launched attacks towards Bahrain and Kuwait, while Kuwait confirmed it was responding to missile and drone threats. Iran's military also claimed it had targeted American aircraft at a US military base in Bahrain. The collapse of last month's interim ceasefire has revived the battle over the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global shipping route. Since the conflict began on February 28th, Iran has maintained its chokehold over the strait, disrupting maritime traffic and strengthening its negotiating position. Iran's armed forces spokesperson, Brigadier General Abolfazl Shekarchi, warned that any further American attack on Iranian infrastructure would trigger a very devastating response.
If our infrastructure is damaged, all infrastructure in the region will become our target. If the enemies could destroy us, they would not wait an hour. The United States and the illegitimate Zionist regime have no right to be in the region, adding that for years they have been plundering the countries of the region and acting as a source of insecurity.
Shekarchi also insisted Iran would never back down over the Strait of Hormuz.
Islamic Republic's sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz is a source of security for the entire region, not insecurity. We insist on the withdrawal of the United States from the region and will never back down regarding the Strait of Hormuz.
As missiles continue to fly across the Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz remains at the center of the confrontation, the conflict is no longer confined to military targets alone. With infrastructure, shipping routes, and regional allies increasingly drawn into the fighting, the prospects for de-escalation appear more distant than ever.